Expert Rookie with your host, Riles B. And today, on my favorite series, A Podcast Today Keeps the Doctors Away, we're going to talk about a couple of different things. I have two pillars, essentially, that I want to hit. We're going to start with the first one, which is that I am beat. Completely and totally beat. I filmed, I think, my favorite episode today of the podcast with the most incredible human being, Emma McCabe, and it was unreal. Like, I cannot wait for you guys to see it in every way. And I also realized I'm like completely dead after that. My brain had so many questions and was expanded on so many different avenues. And then I came home and I literally died in my bed for about an hour. And now we're here. And the whole roundabout thing that I'm getting to right now is that we need to show up even when we don't feel like it. Because I did not want to do this today. It is my favorite thing in the world to do, is podcast and be with you guys. But boy, did I not want to do it. And we have to show up even on our worst days, even when it's hard, because that signals to our body and our mind how powerful we are, how strong we are, and that nothing in this world can take us down. And that doesn't mean don't rest, but it doesn't mean stop. It doesn't mean quit. It doesn't mean don't show up just because things get tough. I talked about this with, I didn't talk about this. Chris Bryan, what an incredible human being he is. He's an entrepreneur. He has a water company. He also works with words. And he came to the conference that I was at in June. Yeah, in June. I don't know why I blacked out there. Anyway, he came to that conference and talked about how important it is to show up despite what is happening in life, despite how you feel. He was running his business, his multi-million-dollar business, from a closet in the hospital while his father was dying in the other room. He chose to show up for his people despite what was happening in his life. You want success. You want health. You want a good relationship. You need to show up despite what you are feeling, despite how hard it is. Literally, despite everything else that is going on in life. Because when the going gets tough, that shows us exactly who you are. That shows you who you are. It shows your character, your integrity, and ultimately, it tells you how much you trust you. Because if you can trust yourself to show up in those moments when you are at your lowest, when things are its hardest in life, you can trust yourself to do just about anything. And that is the foundation of becoming success. I'm going to give up on talking today. Kidding. We don't give up here. That is how you become successful, wealthy, healthy, in the best relationship of your life. That is how you do anything and get anything that you desire. You have to show up on the hard days. You have to show up no matter what. So just keep that in mind and know that even though today I didn't want to show up, I did anyway. Because I knew there was someone out there that had to hear this message. There was someone out there that this was going to resonate with. And also, I did it for myself. Yeah, I'm a selfish bitch. I did it because I made the commitment to myself to show up every single day and do a podcast a day, keeps the doctors away, for you all. I made that commitment to myself. So if I don't show up, I am breaking promises with myself. I am breaking trust with myself. And then my word means nothing. And when your word means nothing, how are you supposed to run a business? How are you supposed to be decisive, take action? How are you supposed to go and be everything you want to be when your word means literally jack shit? Tell me that, because I wouldn't trust a person whose word means jack shit. Your clients won't trust that. And honestly, You break promises with yourself, you're definitely going to break them with your customers and your clients. It all starts with you and the trust you build with you. So that's my first tangent of today. But the real reason you're all here is because I have 7 words for you that are going to unstuck you. Language is so important. And I would actually argue it's the most important thing in this life. Outside of, obviously, relationships and the people we're with. But language is how we communicate with those people. It's how we communicate with ourselves. Most of us think in images and words. Our brain has an internal dialogue, and that internal dialogue says a lot to us. And if those words aren't curated specifically to reduce anxiety, to make us better people, to grow us as humans, to actually love on us, then how in the fuck are we ever going to be happy? How in life are we ever going to be at peace, have some sort of content, enjoy the moment when our brain is literally screaming at us and using language that is hurting us and keeping us stuck? So these are the 7 words that I have removed from my dictionary that have helped me become unstuck and live the life that I live now as a business owner, someone with time freedom, financial freedom, some of the most incredible, wonderful friends on the planet, incredible family. How the fuck did I get here? Well, let me tell you, it's because of these 7 words. Let's get into it. Number 1, the word should. Should means must, ought to. It indicates duty and expectation. Examples of this would be, I should be here now. I should have a partner. I should have X amount of money in my bank account. It assumes things that you should have now and don't. It signals to your brain lack. And anytime we signal to our brain lack, our frequency, our energy immediately goes down. It immediately constricts our blood vessels. It sends our brain into panic mode because we don't have those things now. And that makes us grip on tighter to those things. And what we know is anything we grip onto is just going to pull further and further away from us because we are gripping so tightly. Everything we want, everything we think we should have is just a figment of our imagination. There is no place that you should be in this moment. It's only the parameters that you put on it. So let me give you an example just to make sure that makes sense. You're 27 years old and you think, I should be making $150K by now. Why? Who said that? Just because society says that, or people your age say that, or you saw someone else who was doing it? Like, what? Genuinely, what makes that a should in this life? You're on your own path. You're running your own race, learning at your own pace. What makes you have to be in that situation at this time? Or my favorite one, I should have a partner. Should you? Do you know the average age of getting married is 32 these days? And I believe there was a new statistic that came out that most people won't even get married. Like, really? Do you have to? Should you? There are no shoulds in life other than the ones we create for ourselves. Every parameter that we put on our life is just a construct and a frame that we have put on it. And it's usually something we've gotten from maybe parents, friends, or society, but that doesn't make it true. And I'm going to say that again. Just because we heard it or saw it somewhere doesn't make it true. What is truth is the reality that we live in, the one that we believe for ourselves, and the one that we create for ourselves. There is no shoulds in life. You don't have to have a partner. You don't have to have X amount of money by X amount of time. You don't have to have kids by the time you're 30. You don't have to do the 30 by 30 bucket list, I think. Like, you don't have to do any of that. Nor should you do any of that if that's not something you want. But every time we put should into our life, we are creating a construct. And we are actually keeping ourselves stuck because we are placing lack in our lives. We are placing a desired outcome as something we don't have currently. And we are constricting our creative ability and our ability to surrender in the present moment and enjoy the present moment, which allows creativity to flow, success, abundance to come into your life. And when you're not doing that, you're just anxious, afraid, scared, and full of fear and lack. And wouldn't you rather live in the abundance and happiness of the moment instead of placing a literal barrier on your life? I know for me, I would. The words we use are incredibly powerful. So on to number 2, potential. I'm going to say it again, potential. Sometimes I just laugh my little ass off at how I pronunciate shit. Anyway, potential. It means possible, capable of becoming. This one's a sneaky one because it sounds really fucking good and it's really fucking not. Potential is something we don't have. It's a possibility in life. When we talk about ourselves as we have great potential, we have the potential to go off and do this. Or when you see someone with an amazing talent, right? Oh my God, this person is going to be an incredible basketball player. They have the potential to be in the NBA. When we do that, we don't make it something that is our reality. We place it in the future. We place it as a possibility. Possibility doesn't mean guarantee. And if you want a life of true happiness, one that is full of wealth, health, beautiful relationships, we aren't looking at possibility. We are looking at guarantee. We don't want it to be a potential. We want it to be an actual. So if you want those things in your life, if you want a career that you love, if you want a career where you're the $500,000 CEO, where you're the millionaire, where you're famous around the world, you have to make that a guarantee in your life, not a potential. So remove that shit from your vocabulary. Number 3, need. It means to lack something wanted or a requirement. It signals a scarcity mindset. It's kind of the same thing as should, in the sense of we are needing something, we are desiring something, but everything we need, we don't have. And that takes us away from being in this present moment. It causes us anxiety because we're future pacing. When we need something, when it's a requirement, we are constantly trying to figure out how to get that thing. Because we don't think we're okay in this present moment. We don't feel safe in this present moment. So when I need money, your brain starts to spiral. How the fuck do I get money? What are my options? Where do I go? Should I get a job? Should I get a job as a waitress? Should I continue working for my company? What should I do to get money? Do I leave my job to go to a different job? When you're constantly feeling in lack of something, your brain spirals and it takes you out of this present moment right here in front of you. Look around you. Are you safe? Are you in a house? Do you have shelter? Do you have clothes on your back, food in front of you? Do you have people around you that love you? Are you alive? Literally look bare minimum. You're okay. You're completely okay. There's nothing you need in this life. You have yourself, and that is a hard realization to have sometimes. We're constantly looking for external validation that we're okay to be living, that we are okay to do this life the way we want to do it. We are constantly seeking someone else's approval for literally waking up in the morning. You don't need anyone else's approval. You don't need anything else in this life other than yourself. You are okay to just be you. You don't need more money. You don't need a better job. You don't need a partner. You are perfect just as you are, and you are safe just as you are. Take a breath for a moment. That got heavy and that got deep. But that's okay. We needed to go there because everything we need we don't have. But we already have it all. We are already okay. Oh, and if I didn't mention it already, everything you need, again, we're gripping. We're gripping onto something that we don't need to grip onto. Okay, moving on. Struggling. This means to contend with adversity or oppose force or difficulty, to advance with violent effort, to be coping with inability to perform well or win. When we are struggling, we are constantly forcing, we are constantly pushing and pushing and pushing and trying to push our way through. And we often make that our identity. And I keep saying we here. I'm not a part of this, respectfully. I don't use that word. You keep making that a part of your identity. You keep saying, I'm struggling. I'm struggling through this. I am the two most important words in the human dictionary that define who you are and what you bring to this world. And you're saying you're struggling? You are making yourself someone who struggles through life? When you are going through a hard time, it is just that, a hard time, a moment, a season. It doesn't make it easier, but it is an experience of life, and that is all that it is. And we came here to experience everything. Our gift is to feel every emotion on a deep level, to feel the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, which also means the deepest sadnesses and the hardest griefs. We came here to experience all of that. We don't just get the happy times, but when you say, I am struggling, and then take a moment to actually look around your life and realize, oh wait, I have all of my basic needs met. Are you really struggling? Like, really? Or are you just going through a hard time right now? Is this grief just a season of life? I have been through death in my life. I have been on my own deathbed. I have been through shit in my life. I have literally overcome anxiety in every form. And actually, I'm going to rephrase that, because anxiety isn't something you overcome, but it is something that you learn to not give power to. We all experience anxiety. It is emotion that we all have. But to say, how do I want to phrase this? I choose to live life through the lens of happiness and love. Every day I make the choice to have peace in my life, to let go of things that don't serve me, and to be present in this beautiful moment, and to realize all of the abundance I have around me and all of the wonderful things that I have in my life. But when we choose to put on the lens of all the negative that is happening in our lives, when you choose to put on the lens of what is struggling and you focus your attention there, that is ultimately what your life becomes. My life is where it is right now in this moment, traveling freely, having time, freedom, running my own business freely, doing all of this because I choose to not let my past define my present actions. Everything that I have been through in the past, yes, was hard, but was the most beautiful lessons I have ever learned. That is not something I need to take with me moving forward, because I will never, ever, ever become the number one podcaster in the world, a $500,000 CEO, when I am living in that past, when I'm living with the lens of negativity and saying and identifying as I struggle, I am someone who struggles, puts me there constantly. Even if it's just in this moment and you're like, oh, I'm going to get out, but I am struggling. No, you can't even tell yourself that because your brain doesn't know the difference between the past, the present, and the future. Whatever you play in your mind is what comes out in your reality. What you see in your mind, you can hold in your hand. So if you want a future that you can hold in your hands that you are excited about, you need to tell your brain that story now. And it can't be one of you struggling, because that is exactly what will play out in your reality. All right, next word, resilient. I kind of went into this one yesterday, but we're going to go over it again. Resilient, recovering from illness, adversity, depression, rebounding. Every time you make resilience a part of your identity, you are reinforcing the story of trauma in your life. And yes, it is one of those sneaky secret words that sounds really, really good. But resilience is about constantly overcoming. When you say I am resilient, you are like, I overcome. Which again, sounds incredible. But it means that you are constantly being faced with trauma. That is not the story I would want for my life. And I know it is not a story you want for your life. You don't want to be constantly faced with trauma. You want to see the world with beauty, light, and love. You don't want to be facing anxiety and self-criticism every single day. You want to be magnetic and confident and excited for life. But you can't do that when you're being resilient, because when you are constantly overcoming something every day, because you are a resilient person and that's the story you tell yourself, you can't live fully in the present moment. You are not being with yourself. You are not living in the abundance of the moment when you identify as someone who has constantly overcome. It is the same thing as struggling. We are living life and we are here to experience it to its fullest. Have we learned? Have we felt? Yes. Have you learned? Have you felt? Yes. That does not make it something that is truly, truly traumatic in our lives, and something that we need to bond to in our identity. All right, number 6. Sorry. Feeling regret, wrongness, tragic. I just blacked out for a minute. This word is so overused, it's not even funny. It has lost pretty much all of its meaning, especially, and watch my language here, by people who have people-pleasing tendencies or by people who have anxious tendencies, because they are constantly looking for external validation and constantly seeking approval to be alive. Stop saying sorry for just living. Stop saying sorry for just being who you are. There's absolutely no fucking reason to use sorry in every other sentence. You are okay to just be you. So please stop using that fucking word. And number 7, perfect. Perfect means without flaw. There is nothing in this world without flaw. The only way I would say this is an acceptable word is if you look at yourself and accept you for all that you are, flaws included. But if you realize too that you have flaws, that's okay. Just accept you. It's about acceptance of what it is and not a standard that needs to be met, because perfect implies a standard. It implies without flaw. Everything is flawed. Even look at the trees. There is no perfect tree out there. There's millions of them. There's not a perfect tree. There's not a perfect blade of grass. There's not a perfect hair on my head. That is okay. That is what makes me fucking awesome. And in that, I am perfect. But to set perfect as a standard for yourself in the life you need to live, you're just going to end up killing yourself. Like emotionally and physically, because you are just draining the life from you trying to reach that standard. That is why burnout happens, because you are trying to reach a standard instead of accepting what it is. Accepting that it's not going to be perfect, but it's pretty damn great. Accepting that, no, you're not perfect, but you're growing, you're learning, you're excited about life. And that's all great. And in that imperfection, that is perfection. But do you see how careful we have to be with our language in order to rewire our brain to become healthy, wealthy, and successful? Because when we put these standards upon us and we put these needs in front of us, we create lack in our lives. When we, in fact, are not lacking. We are abundant beings. And there is abundance all around us. But we have to train our minds to see it. And we do that through the language we use every single day, whether it's the words we speak or the voice in our head. So try removing those 7 words from your dictionary and let me know how it goes. You got this. I love you. Go kick some ass today, y'all.